Everybody has crazy neighbors. What have yours done recently? I once had a married couple who constantly fought. As my apartment neighbors, it was usually the typical shouting, the occasional thrown plates. Then one day, no less than 5 inches of kitchen knife got stabbed through my wall. That was an interesting night. Which is actually really nice. But the lady across the street, her dog has escaped like 15 times, and I always happen to see it and bring it home, and she says he's able to unlock the back gate with his nose. But I don't understand after the second or third time why she doesn't find a better way to lock the gate. My neighbor knocked on my door and pointed out the mildew and algae on the side of his house. Ever heard of pressure washing? He said cut down my tomatoes because green stuff was blowing off my plants onto his house. Timmy, you were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Recently-ish. It was NYE 2022. Saturday night, 9 p.m. 4 of us were in the yard around the fire pit, talking and laughing, no music. She called the cops because we were laughing too loud. I'd understand if it was a weeknight, or if we were blasting music. But 9 p.m. on a Saturday night on Nye? I live in a nice neighborhood with an active HOA. Someone recently painted their entire house this hideous bright blue color. I thought it was hilarious and didn't care at all. Someone posted it to our neighborhood's Facebook page and I commented saying how much I liked it just to make people mad. I still get a kick out of it. My old neighbor was perfect, quiet, and always had a nice chat when we met outside our flats. He was obviously dealing drugs, but he kept all the junkies in line. They were quiet as well when they were knocking on his door all hours of the night. Then he stabbed the shit of 2 guys that came to his door. The hallway was covered in blood. It was crazy. Still, after he got sent to prison, a new guy moved in that played music constantly as loud as he possibly could. He'll take all Stubby back any day. My neighbor mows his lawn at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Every single week. He got caught trying to steal one of the neighbor's trucks. His excuse was he was thinking about getting one and wanted to test how secure they were. Amazon delivered my package to my 80-yo next door neighbor. I got the email with the picture. Went over at 8 p.m., knocked, no answer. Went over at 8 a.m., knocked, no answer. Came home from work to a gift bag on my doorstep with a note from her apologizing that she opened the packages not realizing they were for me and hoping I have a nice day. When I bring in her garbage cans this week, I'm taking her a jar of homemade jam just to stick it to her. Might even put a bow on it. One of my neighbors used black spray paint to black out the peepholes of everyone on their floor, and then spray painted giant swastikas on their doors. Just one of the more recent crazy activities from this guy. My neighbors are squatters currently. One of them stole my rake at 5 a.m. on a Thursday, and then approached me the next day asking if I needed someone to rake my yard. Mine made a rickety POS platform out of discarded pallets for their rickety POS above ground pool. It epitomized their white trashiness. This was years ago, but I'll still share the story. My wife and I lived in a shitty bottom floor semi-underground apartment when we were just starting out. The upstairs neighbors were absolutely, positively, without a doubt some of the loudest people I've ever heard in my life. I remember waking up at 2 a.m. to what had to have been a large bookshelf falling over twice in the same night, loud TV, dropping objects, etc. These people were awful. One beautiful spring day, we decided to open our windows and shades. We didn't usually do this because you could see our entire apartment from the outside because we were semi-underground. While we had our windows open, we heard our upstairs neighbors drive in and start walking up. I hear the kid run ahead of his mom and go silent for several seconds. What happened next horrified me. We heard the kid loudly proclaim right in our window, "Mommy, I just peed there." To which the mom said, "shh. Don't say that here." And they rushed inside. We were looking up house listings right after we shut our windows. This happened to my in-laws many years ago. There was a man who lived down the street. They said he was a nice guy, kinda quiet. One day they were woken up by police and the SWAT team surrounding this man's house. They hauled the guy out in handcuffs. He was a serial killer with a soundproof basement where he kept and killed his victims. They think he killed some 20 women, but they could only convict him of 7. He got life and died in prison. My neighbor just decided to start a midnight drum circle like, who does that at 2 a.m. right? I'm all for creativity, but see man. The neighbor's kid across the street got a BB gun for his birthday and accidentally fired it into the house across the street. That was pretty crazy for my neighborhood lol. Mine just never shuts up. If I'm about to turn on my street and I see him outside, I just go straight and do a few blocks, hoping he goes back in. He'll be trapped outside for a half an hour if I don't. Fist fight. Across the street, neighbors separated by one house have been sniping at each other for petty things. Came to a head when one started reporting the other to police for, again, Petty things like parking a commercial vehicle overnight came to blows, then to court. Judge issued an order that they must enter and leave the neighborhood in different directions so they don't pass each other's house. Mexican here. Neighbor's American had a newborn, living in Cholum in the middle of the jungle, and our houses being separated by literal sticks of wood on our backyard. Complained about how me and my girlfriend making too much noise for their baby to sleep. No music, just the two of us chatting in our backyard. She didn't close the window on their second floor because they liked the breeze. I really didn't understand how you can be so entitled to have everyone care about your situation. It was unfathomed to me. I've never had any crazy neighbors. That means I must be the crazy neighbor.